If you're looking to buy real estate right now, but you're feeling a little bit frozen, interest rates are higher than what we're used to, there's some uncertainty in the market, then you're gonna wanna stick with me for this video. My name's Glenn Feldstein. I'm a real estate advisor with Angle Invokers here in Vancouver, BC. Now, what I'm gonna do in this video is compare home prices versus interest rates over the last 10 years. I'm also gonna make a comparison for those who are renting to illustrate what the next 5 years could look like if you decided to buy. Let's get into it. Here's a chart that compares home prices with interest rates over the past decade, specifically from January 1st, 2014 to present. I used a 5-year fixed rate, and I used the contracted rate, which is what a client would likely get as opposed to the posted rate. For home prices, I used the housing price index, which is provided to us by the Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver. It's modeled after the consumer price index. It gives us a benchmark price for what a typical property would likely sell for. It's a superior metric to average or median prices as it offers a more stable view of the real estate market, avoiding monthly fluctuations. So in looking at the chart, interest rates are the blue line and home prices are the red line. And what you can see is that when interest rates come down, home prices go up. Conversely, when interest rates go up, home prices go down. So you notice that mostly, you can see a little bit of that in 2015. And then if I draw your eye over to 2018, 2019, you can see it there as well. And then certainly in 2022, when interest rates started rising rapidly, of course, shortly after that, we did see a decline in prices then. This pattern indicates that now is an opportune time to consider purchasing real estate. Now, projected for sometime in 2024, most likely the latter half, interest rates are expected to decline, which is likely going to cause housing prices to rise. Now, many buyers prioritize low interest rates over high property prices, which may lead to a more competitive market. Just as we saw when interest rates were below 2%, prices were rising so fast. Most buyers, they wanted to get that low rate and they wanted to get in the market. Now, because prices were rising at the rate that they were, a lot of buyers were afraid of getting priced out, which meant they had to make compromises, more compromises than they probably normally would have just to get into the market. So it was highly competitive. So when this happens again in 2024 and 2025 perhaps, now rates aren't going to be going down as fast as they were going up. However, when they do start to go down, that's going to instill some confidence in a lot of buyers. So the market is going to become quite competitive for buyers, whereas now things are a little bit more relaxed. Of course, you have to tackle the higher interest rates and you have to climatize to that and adjust to that. But when you're actually out there looking at properties, you have less people to compete with, which makes for a better buying experience overall. By purchasing now, it positions you as a buyer to buy at a lower price. And as rates drop, the value of your property is likely to increase at a quicker pace. So most people are looking at a 2 or 3 year term where at the end of that term, you can refinance or renew at a lower rate, capitalizing on the faster growth of your property's value and equity. As mentioned, I have a comparison for those of you who are renting right now, but are financially capable to buy real estate, but you're just frozen and you're unsure what to do, which is perfectly normal. Whenever there's some uncertainty in the market, it is perfectly normal to pull back. Here's the comparison, the 5-year outlook, renting versus buying. So I used a purchase price just to keep things simple. I used a purchase price of $1 million. So here's the total cash upfront that you would need. So down payment 20%. So purchase of $1 million or more, minimum down payment required is 20%. We've got property transfer tax, we've got lawyer fees, and we've got inspection. So the total upfront cash needed is $220,000, $500. So what does that look like per month? Okay, so your mortgage payment is going to be on $1 million purchase, $200,000 down, you have an $800,000 mortgage, your payment is going to be about $5,000 per month. Now, I put a strata fee in here, $650, because I'm here in Vancouver and there's not going to be a single family home for $1 million. So you're going to be in a strata titled property. So a strata fee, $650 for a total of $5,600 per month. And since we're making the comparison versus rent, I put rent at $3,500. Now, that's probably on the low side for the property type that you can purchase for $1 million. But let's just assume we're talking about 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, whether it's an apartment or a condo. So rent $3,500. Now, I know that's a big gap from $5,600 to $3,500, but again, this comparison is for people who are financially ready and capable to buy real estate. So the mortgage payment there, based on a 5-year fixed term at 6.34, I used a 5-year fixed term just for consistency since that's what the chart was based off of. Now, the $650 strata fee, of course, that can fluctuate, but right now, on average, we're looking at about 65 cents per square foot for the monthly maintenance fee, and $3,500 in rent, downtown Vancouver, 2-bedroom apartment. I mean, again, that's probably on the low side. You're probably really more so looking at around 37, 3,800. Anything over 4,000, it's probably just going to be a nicer, newer building, more amenities and that sort of thing. Okay, so now in looking at the investment side of things, the mortgage side of things, so when you pay your mortgage, you're paying part of the principal and part of the interest. Now, at the beginning of your mortgage, each payment you make, more of it's going towards interest than it is the principal. But after 5 years, you will have paid off $53,000 from the principal. So that would be your $800,000 mortgage less $53,000 is what you would have remaining. Now, since real estate is an appreciating asset, of course, there's going to be ups and downs. But even if you go back to that chart, you'll see that it's consistently going up. There's obviously going to be these little blips, but historically, real estate is an appreciating asset. So at the end of 5 years, your property at $1 million will have appreciated $187,000. Now, I used a 3.5% appreciation per year. Now, that's quite conservative. Now, obviously, if you bought, in 2021, you would have seen a dip. Okay, I understand that. But real estate, it's a it's a long-term investment. So at 3.5%, I feel that's pretty conservative. Your $1 million property is now up $187,000. Going back to the rental side of things. So at $3,500 per month, your first year, you're paying $42,000. Now, every landlord can raise the rent every year a certain amount. So again, I use a conservative number, 1.7% increase per year. This fluctuates a little bit, but it's usually around there. But again, this is a pretty conservative 1.7%. So in your 5th year, you will have paid $44,000, $45,000, let's call it, in your 5th year. So totaling over the 5 years, you will have paid $217,000 in rent. To wrap all this up, at the end of 5 years, what does the investment look like? You've got an appreciated property value of nearly $1.2 million. Take away the remaining mortgage balance of $746,000, and that'll give you the equity you've built over the 5 years, which is $440,000 in equity. Now, if you want to back out your $200,000 down payment, then you've got a profit of $240,000, whereas the rent payments that you would have made are $217,000. As you can see, making a choice to buy real estate right now isn't a bad idea, but it might not be right for everyone. My goal is to provide you with as much information as you need so you can make the most informed decision possible. If you think you'd benefit from a conversation about your specific circumstances and about your local market, I'm going to drop a link to my contact below. Reach out and let's just have a conversation.